In this video, I'm going to be analysing Carlton Morton, who appeared on Season 1 of the show Love is Blind.
My name is Carlton Morton, I'm 34 years old, and I'm from Opelousas, Louisiana.
Love is Blind starts with 15 single men and 15 single women. They each go into a pod where they can hear but not see one member of the opposite sex. They initially speed date different people in the pods, but then go on to have longer dates with people they have a connection with. If and when they feel ready, they then move on to a marriage proposal. After that, the newly engaged fiancés finally meet in person and spend 4 weeks together to decide whether or not to go ahead with the marriage. I thought Carlton would be an interesting case for an analysis because he's somebody that straddles the two main schools of narcissists. He displays obvious, in-your-face narcissist behaviours as you'd typically see with the lesser narcissist. However, he also displays the crying and pity plays which are typical of a mid-range narcissist. I'm going to show you how Carlton's actions fit into the main indicators for narcissism: entitlement, no boundaries, dynamic of narcissism, grandiosity or haughtiness, accountability lacking, manipulative, and empathy lacking. Let's begin.
Growing up, I wanted to be like Hugh Hefner, stylish guy, can have his pick of the litter. But there comes a time in every man's life where he has to settle down. I'm so ready to find a wife.
This is our first indicator, character trait acquisition, an element of the narcissistic dynamic. Narcissists steal parts of other people's identities and bolt them onto themselves. This forms what's known as the construct, or the false self, which they present to the world. For example, if you've ever dated a narcissist, you may well have found them blatantly copying your style, your mannerisms, or the phrases you say. Here, Carlton has bolted on Hugh Hefner's style to form a key part of his identity. Of course, many non-narcissists are interested in fashion and may want to be like Hugh Hefner as well. This is why we can't possibly determine that somebody's a narcissist just from one individual indicator. But as you'll see throughout this analysis, the indicators stack up. There's also potential objectification of others from Carlton here in saying he wanted to have the pick of the litter when talking about sexual partners. This is another element of the narcissistic dynamic.
Basically, I'm gonna be blind dating all these women.
It's game time.
Game time.
Get that wife. Get that wife.
They can't see how fly I am. They can't say, oh, he's handsome. They can't say, oh, I like chocolate skin and beards. They have to rely on my personality. It's literally blind love.
Talking about how fly and handsome he is shows grandiosity.
Before coming into this facility, I was very superficial. I had to be with the supermodel. I had to be with the beauty queen. Now, I'm ready to focus on what matters. It's more about what's on the inside, if that heart is beautiful, if your soul speaks to my soul.
Carlton's superficiality shows that he objectifies people, an element of the narcissistic dynamic. And generally, his language is just crammed full of grandiose cliches. If your heart is beautiful, if your soul speaks to my soul. Like so many narcissists, he's pretentious. Now we see a clip of Carlton on one of his first dates.
A lot of girls will develop daddy issues in the form of, oh, I need a man's attention. Instead of turning into that, I became my own masculine influence in my life. I was a big tomboy, like I wanted to work on cars. I wanted to build things and make things with my hands. I wanted to be a badass. Hello?
Walking out midway through somebody opening up to him shows a lack of emotional empathy, a boundary transgression, a sense of entitlement, and a lack of accountability. When his date is talking about herself for what Carlton perceives to be too long, she threatens his sense of control. And a narcissist must always be in control. In Carlton's subconscious, he is the most interesting person in the world, and he should be the one talking, not her. Narcissists assert control through 3 mechanisms: direct, indirect, and withdrawal. Some narcissists in this situation would have wrestled control back directly by interrupting her, or by bringing the conversation back onto them. Carlton asserts control using withdrawal. He leaves so this threat to his control is gone. In addition, he asserts control indirectly by signaling to the other men that she's boring. This is a form of smearing, talking down the victim to others. It shows a further lack of emotional empathy. Now we see Carlton on a date with a woman he's met called Diamond. Based on the content of the clip, they must have already had a previous date or dates which weren't shown.
Hello?
Hey!
Oh, you sound happy. I wish I could get that type of greeting every day.
No, I'm just, you're so funny. I can't with you.
So I want to know, like, what are some things that stand out about me to you?
Now, I don't know how much the producers have cut out of this conversation. However, it appears that Carlton starts the date off by asking Diamond what she thinks stands out about him. This shows self-absorption and grandiosity. It shows his underlying mentality of believing he's special and better than others. He's not asking, what do you think could be compatible and not compatible between us so far? Or, is there anything else you'd like to know about me? It's basically, tell me the stuff that's great about me. Now watch as he's so excited to be receiving this positive fuel from her that he actually stands up to receive it.
I wrote my notes down. Let me get them out.
Okay.
I said your personality is really good, that you have morals and values. Love that you love to travel, because I love to travel as well.
You know, I've never been to Vegas.
You've
Like,
never been to
never.
Vegas?
Like, I can't wait to have that Vegas moment where I'm standing on tables and partying.
I see where you're going to have your bachelor party at.
If you let me.
Oh, what you mean if I let you?
Look, I've waited for the moment to fall in love for so long that I'm not messing nothing up.
Carlton is using benign manipulations over Diamond to seduce her. A narcissist has to put on a good show to a potential victim at the beginning in order to seduce them. An unaware narcissist like Carlton doesn't do this consciously. Instead, their narcissism causes them to feel infatuation towards their potential victim. Of course, after a period of time, this wears off and the narcissist starts to abuse their victim. But a narcissist won't consciously be thinking, I'm going to act nice to reel in another sucker, then I can start to abuse them like all the others. They don't know they're abusers. They think they're past victims of the abusers. So the narcissist is nice at the beginning, or, as H.G. Tudor says, they pour some sugar on you at the start. In this case, Carlton saying, if you let me, about having his bachelor party in Vegas, and, look, I've waited for the moment to fall in love for so long that I'm not messing nothing up. This is him putting on a fake display of niceness. He's making out that he's going to be a respectful, loyal, kind husband. Carlton will even believe in this moment that he's going to be those things. But he won't be. It's a benign manipulation and future faking. A narcissist is never going to be a considerate partner in the long term. They don't have emotional empathy, so they can't be. They're going to abuse, lie, and probably cheat.
That's the thing with relationships. You have to be able to trust.
You're a totally different type of woman, and I appreciate that about you.
Yeah.
If you were like, no, I don't want you to go to Vegas because last time this happened, I just don't feel comfortable.
That's another.
Carlton uses flattery here, another benign manipulation. He also triangulates Diamond with other women by saying, you're a totally different type of woman and I appreciate that about you. During the seduction stage, narcissists will triangulate victims by saying how much better they are than their exes or than other men or women. During devaluation, they will then triangulate victims by saying how much worse they are than exes or than other women or men. Now we find out a bombshell about Carlton.
My biggest dream is that I finally find a wife who will love me unconditionally, who is kind of like that ride or die. But I have a big secret. At one point in my young adult life, I found myself attracted to just hearts, period. Like, it didn't have a gender. It wasn't about sex for me. I dated guys and girls, but I want a wife now because I feel like women bring a certain, like, nurturing, love and affection to the table that, like, I don't get from a guy. My biggest worry is that I will find someone that I'm super in love with and want to marry, and then at the last minute, she will not be able to walk down the aisle because she just can't be married to someone like me.
Of course, bisexuality is perfectly natural and most bisexual individuals will not be narcissists. However, many narcissists, although certainly not all, are sexually fluid. This is a big topic, but in a nutshell, using sex is such an effective way of getting control and fuel from people that many narcissists are driven to use it, regardless of the victim's gender. So this is another indicator for Carlton. But again, this is just a single indicator which must be taken in the context of all the other information. Most bisexual people will certainly not be narcissists. If you want more information, I'd recommend listening to the videos Is the Narcissist Secretly Gay? And The Narcissist is a Sex Chameleon, both by H.G. Tudor. Carlton is also displaying contradictory behavior here, an element of the narcissistic dynamic. If his biggest fear is that his partner won't be able to walk down the aisle because he's been with men, then why doesn't he tell Diamond this now and find out whether it's a problem for her before going any further? After some more conversations in which Carlton still doesn't tell Diamond about his past, he proposes.
I have waited for this my whole life, and I can't waste any more time. Diamond,
Yes.
will you be my wife?
Oh my God.
Will you marry me?
Oh my God. Yes.
You will?
Yes.
Baby!
The conversation gets very deep and emotional after this.
I love you
I love you too.
with all my heart.
Oh God.
You know I can't breathe, right?
I can't either. Like, it's a lot.
You've taught me so much in such a short period of time. It just became evident day by day that there was no fears, just feeling like I could be myself with you, and no matter what I tell you, you'd accept me and not leave me, because I feel that I've been left many times. And I found myself thanking God for you. You make me feel like I won't have to hide anything. I won't have to be anybody other than Carlton. I can't see my life without you at this point.
Narcissists are fundamentally incapable of love. Love requires caring about your partner's needs, showing patience, respect, and support. These things require emotional empathy, which narcissists don't have. Instead, narcissists feel extreme infatuation, which they think is love. Carlton's love-bombing Diamond, which is basically bombarding her with benign manipulations to get her under his control. He says he can't see his life without her at this point. They've known each other for 6 days at this point. We also see Carlton's mid-range side coming out when he says, "No matter what I can tell you, you'd accept me and not leave me because I feel like I've been left many times," and starts crying. This is a pity play to get sympathy. And of course, when he says, "You make me feel like I won't have to hide anything," that's contradictory behavior because, of course, he is hiding something.
It's very touchy to decide when to reveal my sexuality to Diamond, because I'm just not sure how she'll handle it. Going through this experience in such a short amount of time, I'm definitely closer, and I have to be ready to reveal this information. I just don't think that I can do it right now. I've experienced rejection in the past by people that I thought would understand, so I am afraid to ruin this.
Carlton is rejecting accountability for not telling Diamond about his sexuality. He does this by using 2 manipulations, blame shifting and a pity play. He says, "I've experienced rejection in the past by people that I thought would understand, so I'm afraid to ruin this." Basically, it's not his fault he hasn't told Diamond, it's the fault of the people who have rejected him in the past when he told them. In reality, the fact that some women don't want to be with a bisexual man should have made it even more important for Carlton to tell Diamond about his sexuality before proposing. If he had told her before this, she could have decided whether she was okay with it, and, if she wasn't, find another man who she liked instead. In not telling her, Carlton showed a lack of emotional empathy and a sense of entitlement.
My whole life, I've just been craving acceptance.
Carlton's pity party continues. This is typical for certain types of mid-range narcissist, justifying their behavior by playing the victim, complete with tears streaming down their face.
I'm gonna make an amazing husband, but gonna be a great father.
Grandiosity, delusion. I think by the end of the analysis you'll agree that Carlton will certainly not make an amazing husband. Carlton and Diamond are then allowed to physically see and meet each other for the first time. Everything goes well and they're pleased with each other's appearances.
How are you? Hi. How is? Oh my God.
Now Carlton and Diamond go to stay in a hotel in Mexico to get to know each other. However, Carlton starts acting up.
Hello, Mexican police. Come get this lady.
Come get you.
She crazy.
Bye-bye. They won't touch me.
I had to pick the craziest person in the house.
You thought I was, I'm not crazy.
Yeah, you're crazy. I knew that from day one.
Well, because I spoke my mind. That's normal, ain't it?
You better be happy you're pretty.
Oh, so I get away with stuff because I'm pretty? Okay.
I would have been punched it a long time ago.
Punched it?
Punched it, like leave.
Okay. I'm like, watch your words here.
Come on, chill out.
Usually, at this early stage of a narcissist seducing a victim, they would still be love-bombing hard. However, Carlton has actually switched to some malign manipulations on Diamond here. Yes, it could be construed as flirting and jokey, but he is being mean, and clearly Diamond is taking some offense. This shows a lack of emotional empathy, a boundary transgression, and drama creation, an element of the narcissistic dynamic. Carlton says she's the craziest out of the other women on the show. Insult, triangulation, and provocation. He also says he would have left her by now if she wasn't pretty. That's a double-edged compliment and threatened loss. When she finally takes his bait and tells him to watch his words, he suddenly switches track. Come on, chill out. This is a classic narcissist trick. They wind the victim up until the victim has finally had enough and says something. Then the narcissist switches to, whoa, no need to get so cranky. It's blame shifting and dismissiveness. Now, a narcissist switching to using malign manipulations at such an early stage in a relationship is very unusual without some kind of threat to control. My best guess as to why this is happening is that Carlton knows he has to tell Diamond about his sexuality soon, and his narcissism is sensing an impending threat to control from Diamond. He's therefore attempting to assert control over her and gain fuel by starting drama. This is something narcissists will often do when they sense an incoming threat to their control, such as the victim having a birthday or going out to see their friends. A narcissist will look to start a fight with the victim, which is known as dropping the narc bomb.
You make daddy feel good.
That's why you have that hat on. You're not slick. Oh, you're not slick.
You want one that say mommy?
When I am a mother, I would love to have one.
I'm gonna get you one that says, do not fucking touch.
No, I would not wear that.
Well, what about one that says Carlton's wife?
Okay, I'll do that.
The fact that Carlton's mooting the idea of getting Diamond a hat saying, do not effing touch, or Carlton's wife, is a big red flag for narcissism. Even if he's saying it as a joke, it shows the kind of thoughts that are going through his mind. He's jealous. Narcissists are jealous by nature. Their narcissism uses jealousy to prompt them into asserting tighter control over their victim. For example, it could be stopping the victim from going to see their friends by accusing them of having an affair. In addition, there's another red flag for an element of the narcissistic dynamic. Asserting control over a victim by choosing what they can and cannot wear is frequently done by narcissists.
What about one that says Carlton's wife?
Okay, I'll do that.
You what?
Yes, I would do that one if I'm your wife.
Yeah.
I'm saying we still gotta walk down the aisle.
Oh, we walking down the aisle.
Okay.
Ain't no turning back.
Oh,
What you gotta figure out?
we gotta move in together. What do you mean?
When Diamond says that she would wear the hat if she was his wife, she threatens Carlton's control. If? Narcissists are highly attuned to threats to their control. It's like a filter they subconsciously view life through. Is this person threatening my control, or are they giving me control? In this case, Diamond signals to Carlton that she, his new victim, is not under control and might leave him. Diamond says, we've still got to walk down the aisle, and Carlton asserts control directly by simply ordering Diamond, oh, we're walking down the aisle. Ain't no turning back. He then goes one step further and actually starts to interrogate her. What you got to figure out? Then a sort of accusatory look. Now, if a non-narcissist was in Carlton's situation, even if they really wanted to be with Diamond, their empathy would guide them to think, well, we've known each other for 6 days. She has a right to spend these 4 weeks really getting to know me and choosing whether marriage is the right thing for her. They would respect the boundary of her making her own decisions. Narcissists are built differently. Carlton doesn't have any empathy for Diamond. He doesn't respect boundaries. He has a rampant sense of entitlement that he deserves her. So of course, he's not going to allow her to make up her own mind freely and manipulates. We continue.
I'm gonna get you a pogo stick so you can hop out of your feelings right now.
You know what? You trying to start something.
Whatever.
All right, so I'm just gonna go to the pool.
There's no pool.
I think this conversation's is over before it gets too deep.
Carlton says, I'm going to get you a pogo stick so you can hop out of your feelings right now. Invalidation of Diamond's feelings and haughtiness, lack of emotional empathy. Diamond correctly identifies that Carlton is trying to start something. Carlton replies with, whatever, more dismissiveness and haughtiness. Diamond says, I'm just going to go to the pool and gets up to go, usually the correct move when a narcissist is manipulating you. Carlton can't even let her have that. There is no pool. Later, Carlton goes down to join Diamond by the pool that definitely does exist, so he lied. He finally tells her his secret, so get ready for a manipulation overload as he attempts to assert control.
I know you. I can tell like when something's upsetting you, and I'm like, is everything okay? It's just that feeling, that energy I have with you. You okay? What's on your mind?
A lot. With you, I feel like I can be myself completely. And I feel like you know when something is off. Like you can sense it. Like I really love you. But it's like certain things are like always in the back of my head.
Certain things like what?
Like the past. I felt like there was no possible way you could, like a woman like you, as perfect as you are, as beautiful as you are.
Oh. Hey.
Carlton is using flattery and a pity play to assert control. So far so good. Diamond's giving him sympathy and wiping away his tears, providing him with control and fuel.
What's wrong?
It's just stuff that we have to just discuss because I feel like I've always been in situations where people have abandoned me and have like rejected me.
First off, you don't have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
No.
I have a lot to worry about.
What,
you have
in
no
regards
idea.
of me?
You have no idea. You could leave me at any moment because I haven't fully opened up.
More pity plays by saying people have always abandoned and rejected him. He's also manipulating Diamond by saying you could leave me at any moment. It's a pity play and it's trying to guilt her into feeling too bad to reject him.
What is it that you want to open up to me about?
I don't feel like you're gonna want me after this information.
What information?
In the past, I have dated both genders.
What you mean, like man and female?
Male and female, yeah. It's a lot to accept. I get it. It's okay. Like, I have my fears. I've gone through the thought of, fuck, you met the love of your fucking life. And now...
After telling her, Carlton is studying Diamond to see whether she's under control or not. She isn't, so he launches into another pity play, saying it's a lot to accept and he's been worrying he's going to lose the love of his life.
My question is, how do you know I'm the love of your life? Do you ever feel like you need to go date?
Nah.
another
No.
man?
No. That is the biggest misconception in the world. The biggest misconception in the world.
Exaggeration.
For men like me who are honest,
He's honest. Delusion. Grandiosity.
I love people for who they are at the core. This has nothing to do with it. This has nothing to do with it. Like, that has never been the motivating force in my life.
Carlton says he loves people for who they are at the core, nothing to do with the face or the genitals. Firstly, this is grandiose. Secondly, it contradicts what he said earlier. Before coming into this facility, I was very superficial. I had to be with a supermodel. I had to be with the beauty queen. Contradiction, revision of history, lie, delusion.
It's a lot to accept.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at you right now, and
No, I'm listening. I'm listening.
but I feel like your eyes are so blank.
I mean,
it's
it's
like
a lot to take
I know,
in.
I know. Fuck!
You slowly vanish. I cannot feel you. Didn't you know?
Again, Carlton realizes that Diamond isn't under control when he says, I'm looking at you right now. I feel like your eyes are so blank. So he launches into another pity play to try and assert control, swearing, breaking down in tears, and dramatically throwing his cap away.
I may leave this earth alone, but I will leave this earth saying I was fucking honest. I didn't fucking deceive nobody, and I did one of the hardest fucking things I was ever do. I'm not a hider. What am I hiding for? Why can I not be myself?
I may leave this earth alone, but I will leave this earth saying I was effing honest. I didn't deceive nobody. Pity play, melodrama, false martyrdom, grandiosity, lie, and revision of history. He did deceive somebody, but he can't see it because his narcissism blinds him to the reality. I did one of the hardest effing things that was ever done. I'm not a hider. Delusion, grandiosity. We get a glimpse of how Carlton sees the situation through his narcissistic perspective. He feels like a victim because of the way people have supposedly treated him in the past for his sexuality. He thinks he's courageous and honest for telling Diamond the truth now. He can't see it's something he should have brought up before this point.
You can be yourself. You can be yourself. I just need time to think about this. You just throw a curveball.
I know.
I'm gonna
Go. Just go.
see you later.
'Cause you are the tin man. I cannot hear you.
So once again, Diamond gets up and walks away when she's being manipulated, the correct move in this situation. She goes to bed and Carlton stays, feeling sorry for himself and saying, "Go, just go," dramatically as a final pity play and guilting. So instead of sitting down with Diamond, explaining the situation and discussing it together in an adult manner before giving her time to think about it, Carlton bombarded Diamond with melodramatic pity plays and guilting, breaking down in tears and making the situation all about him. Sense of entitlement, lack of boundaries, grandiosity, lack of accountability, manipulative, and a lack of emotional empathy. Unfortunately for Carlton, by the next morning, Diamond has had a chance to assess the situation and has pretty much got his number.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
I can only answer in French. Comme si, comme ça. So.
Pity play.
How you feeling?
I feel good.
You look good.
Flattery.
You too. I like your shoes.
Ooh.
It's warm, right?
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
I'm glad I get to see you again.
Yeah.
Flattery. Love bombing.
I'm feeling like I'm physically in paradise, but not mentally there.
Where you at mentally?
I mean, it's a lot going through my mind. I feel like I kept it real from you since day one.
Mm-hmm.
I personally feel that You left out who you really are.
He doesn't like that. It's a threat to his control because Diamond is criticizing him and trying to pin him with accountability for his actions.
Like, I get how you feel. I get that you probably feel betrayed.
Carlton actually manages to keep a lid on the fury that he'll be feeling with this threat to his control, and uses a benign manipulation to try and assert control over Diamond: false empathy. Mid-range narcissists have cognitive empathy, where they can understand on an intellectual level how people must be feeling. They use this to make it seem like they care about others. However, being narcissists, they're incapable of genuine emotional empathy, where they actually care about others. This is demonstrated by their repeated, hurtful actions. Notice how Carlton doesn't quite get the intonation right to sound genuine and empathetic here. It's like he's reading a shopping list. I get how you feel. I get that you probably feel betrayed. This is known as a flat effect, which some narcissists have. Someone with genuine emotional empathy would generally sound like they mean what they're saying.
Like, I get how you feel. I get that you probably feel betrayed.
I kind of feel you kind of played the experiment in a way. I feel that. I feel that you weren't honest with me from the get-go. I felt like that should have been established.
I was honest. I wanted you to get to know me for me.
Again, Diamond is criticizing Carlton's actions and trying to pin him with accountability, thus threatening his control. His narcissism springs into action to defend him. He interrupts her mid-sentence and issues the narcissist's first line of defense when accused of something: denial. I feel like I was honest. I wanted you to get to know me for me. Through his narcissistic perspective, not telling her about his sexuality somehow allowed Diamond to get to know him better. This is a word salad. It doesn't make any sense. It also shows magical thinking. Carlton's out of touch with reality. Diamond sees straight through his manipulations.
Yeah.
That's always
that is
been
part
the
of you, though.
strategy that has never, it's never been an issue with girls. It's never.
Diamond's still not under control, so Carlton switches to a new manipulation: blame shifting and triangulating Diamond with other women in saying, it's never been an issue with girls, like, it's never. Basically, you're the problem because other women are fine with this. It's contradictory behavior. He was crying just yesterday about people abandoning and rejecting him because of this in the past. Earlier on, he also said, I have experienced rejection in the past by people that I thought would understand. This shows a lie and a revision of history, displaying the ever-shifting reality of a narcissist.
It's never been an issue with girls. It's never.
Then why didn't you tell me in the beginning?
Because in the beginning, you will prejudge me.
But you said it's never been an issue
natural.
with girls.
Would you have really, if I would have told you on the first date, would you have really given me a chance? You wouldn't have.
Carlton continues blame shifting. Basically, it's Diamond's fault he didn't tell her because she would have prejudged him. It's also an accusation. If I'd told you on the first date, would you really have given me a chance? You wouldn't have. This is haughty, holier than thou, and judgmental, telling Diamond what she would have done and blaming her for something she never did. It also shows hypocrisy and projection. He's accusing Diamond of judging him, while he's the one actually judging how Diamond would have reacted.
Would you have really given me a chance? You wouldn't have.
I'd rather you have told me up in front. I would be able to make a better decision or be able to say, okay, I understand where you're coming from, but you know for sure you want to be with a female. This is how I personally felt and how I slept on it.
Last night, she was rubbing my back. She's like, give me a hug. Let me talk to you. I'm here for you. And then today, it's like all of a sudden you have an issue with it. Nah.
This shows Carlton's huge sense of entitlement. He thinks that he should be able to drop a bombshell on Diamond, blow up and have a blubbering meltdown to get her to comfort him, and then her opportunity to bring up her grievances is over. He's dismissive and haughty.
Do you really think that I would be here if I didn't have real feelings? What, for a trip?
Deflection. Diamond never accused Carlton of not having feelings for her.
It's like, I don't know, whatever. Show your true colors. I've shown mine.
When Carlton says, show your true colors, this is actually a way of threatening and guilting Diamond. He's basically saying that if she doesn't back down and accept this, she isn't a nice person. She's shown her true colors. Firstly, it doesn't make sense because Diamond isn't criticizing him for being bisexual. She's criticizing him for not telling her earlier. Secondly, even if Diamond has a problem with him having been with men, that's her choice. Nobody has an obligation to date him. The fact that Carlton thinks otherwise shows his sense of entitlement and objectification of others. Finally, Carlton shows projection in saying, "Show your true colours. I've shown mine," accusing Diamond of hiding who she really is, when, of course, this is exactly what he has been doing.
Show your true colors. I've shown mine,
No, you haven't shown your true colors. Not from the beginning.
but I did last night.
Yeah, but you waited all the way to it's literally 4 weeks away from our wedding to show your true colors.
Okay, cool. So you
Oh,
want to
that's
call it
fine?
off?
Another criticism from Diamond prompts Carlton to say, "Okay, cool, so you want to call it off?" Melodramatic and manipulating, using threatened loss. The specific manipulation is one of brinkmanship, where a narcissist quickly jumps to the extreme. For example, if you're in a relationship with a narcissist and you bring up a small issue that you want to discuss, the narcissist might blow up with, "Okay, I guess you want to break up then. Fine." They want you to balk and backtrack. "Oh no, I don't want to do that," thus coming back under their control. Of course, it's essentially a bluff, because if you did agree to it, the narcissist would simply hoover you back in again at a later point.
Colors.
Okay, cool. So you
Oh,
want to
that's
call it
fine?
off?
That's fine for
I'm
you
saying
to do that?
it's whatever you want at this point,
But I'm
because
just
you are
saying,
giving
like,
me
you
a
don't
response different from
understand.
any response that I've ever gotten.
More triangulation, lie, and revision of history.
And I'm
You're
not
so
gonna,
defensive with it, though.
because I'm not going to subject myself to that. I have to be
I'm
defensive.
just
Nobody
saying
has fought
how
for
I
me
feel
except
about it.
me.
No,
Haughtiness, pity play.
nobody fought for me either. But at
Okay.
the same time, I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you about it. I don't have to sit here and talk to you about this.
If you don't want to, you don't have
But
to.
I want to, because I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't, okay? So don't try to play the victim here, okay?
It's insulting me at this point.
Diamond correctly identifies that Carlton's playing the victim, an element of the narcissistic dynamic. So Carlton launches into yet another pity play. "It's insulting me at this point."
Okay?
It's insulting me at this point.
It's insulting you?
Yeah,
Oh, so
it
this
is.
whole process is not
Yeah.
insulting to me?
Well, I'm not here to disrespect you. You on some other shit
I
right
know,
now that
I'm
I
on
can't
some
fuck
real
with.
Carlton contradicts himself from one sentence to the next. "I'm not here to disrespect you. You on some other S right now that I can't F with." Insult, provocation, haughtiness.
Now that
I'm
I
on
can't
some
fuck
real
with.
stuff, and this is part of real life.
I'm okay
but so
with
you
or
don't care
without.
no feelings about
I'm
how
okay
you took me
with
through
or
this.
without this situation. I am okay.
Haughtiness, dismissiveness, threatened loss. Also, contradiction. A short while ago he was saying he couldn't see his life without Diamond, and then how scared he was of losing the love of his life. Now suddenly he's okay with or without the situation. Another example of a narcissist saying whatever is needed in the moment to manipulate and assert control, regardless of what they've said in the past.
Oh, you know what? I
Like,
ain't got time
I'm
for this
okay.
because you having a bad attitude.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
throw
this
it.
not
Throw
ain't
it.
for you.
Have your moment.
You have your moment.
Diamond takes off her engagement ring and Carlton taunts and belittles her. "Go ahead, throw it, have your moment."
Like, seriously, you're taking off your ring because I'm being honest with you. You'd rather a man lie to you about who he's been with or his past? Like, that's insane. I don't need that type of energy in my life.
Through Carlton's narcissistic perspective, Diamond is lucky that he told her the truth, and she's throwing this back in his face. Now listen to him interrupting her mid-sentence again and again and again until the end of this argument.
Have your moment.
Goodbye. You can
need
go. You can go because you got some
You need
issues
it.
that I see
I have
now.
issues because
yes,
I'm
you
telling
do.
my
You
truth.
have some serious issues. So the fact
Nah,
that
you're
you're gonna
typical.
disrespect me,
You're typical.
You're gonna disrespect me because how I
I'm
feel.
disrespecting
Because you
you?
led me to
I'm
believe that you
disrespecting
really
you because
was
you're
into
showing
me.
that. Oh, I do.
No, you don't.
You're
Because
not
if you
gonna take
did, you
it.
would have been here and
You're
told me
not-
from the day
I know
one
who I
that
am.
Diamond,
I have
am
a method.
bisexual.
I don't have
I
to
do this,
disclose
I do that.
information
You
that I'm
don't
not
have
ready
to.
for somebody.
I don't have to disclose information that I'm not ready for. Carlton's narcissism simply doesn't allow him to see anything wrong with withholding the information from Diamond. Lack of accountability, sense of entitlement, blindness to reality.
Like, I have disclosed information to people
But you don't think
too
that's
soon
misleading for
and
other
being
people?
called all
We
types
about to
of
go
names.
here.
I've disclosed information to people too soon and been called all types of names. Pity play, blame shifting.
Walk down the aisle,
Nobody has
and you
ever
never
had
told
an
me.
issue with it except you, and it
Oh,
was girls
okay.
who wasn't even like remotely close to who you are.
Triangulation, lie, revision of history. Notice the use of absolutes. Nobody has ever had an issue with it. Narcissists like to deal in absolutes when manipulating. You always leave the toilet seat up. You never care about my feelings, etc.
Well,
if you
I'm
were this
Diamond
person,
Jack.
okay,
I'm not
good.
who these other
I ain't
girls you've been
fucking with
talking
you like
to.
that.
I don't care if you're not fucking with me.
I ain't. You
I
not
gave
the
you
one.
your ring back.
I don't give a fuck about a ring. Fuck a ring. Fuck a ring.
Triangulation with object, destruction of property, melodramatic.
Fuck a ring.
knew that.
Fuck a ring.
This is why I don't deal with bitches like you.
Insult, provocation, haughtiness.
Oh, I'm a bitch now. You gonna call me a bitch in my face?
I don't deal with women like you.
Fuck you. Fuck you, fucker.
Nah, fuck
Damn,
like
huh?
me.
Fuck you.
Bye.
Kids, look,
And
watch
fix-
my ass to the next dick,
Nah,
boy.
watch your wig, because
You-
it keeps sliding.
you
It's
the
been
fuck
sliding
do
since
you
day
think-
one.
Insult, provocation, and haughtiness when he said, I don't deal with women like you.
I am.
Your wig been
You ain't
sliding since
married
day
to no
one.
average bitch,
Peace
boy.
out.
Shut the fuck up.
Peace out.
Fuck. Oh, you so fucking. Ooh.
You mad because I'm telling the truth.
I have clearly realized that this is not the woman for me. She has proven herself to be ignorant. She has proven herself to be stereotypical. I feel betrayed just as much as she feels betrayed. So fuck her.
Carlton seems to be implying that Diamond is biphobic by calling her ignorant. This shows smearing, which is an indirect assertion of control, an accusation, and a revision of history. She was criticizing him for not telling her earlier, not for being bisexual. It also shows a lack of emotional empathy in casting this aspersion on someone's character on television. Carlton shows hypocrisy as well. He calls her ignorant in one sentence, then in the next sentence calls her stereotypical. Isn't that quite an ignorant statement? He also shows his victim mentality. He feels betrayed. We end the analysis here for now. There is more footage of Carlton in the reunion episode, and his narcissism is on full display again, but that's a story for another time. Let's review the narcissistic indicators Carlton has displayed. He behaves in an entitled manner, for example, walking out halfway through a date, thinking he shouldn't have to tell Diamond about his sexuality, and acting like Diamond's basically obliged to go through with the marriage no matter what. He has poor boundary recognition, for example, insulting Diamond for no reason in the hotel room, or not giving Diamond space to make up her own mind about his sexuality, but instead bombarding her with dramatic manipulations. He shows many elements of the narcissistic dynamic: character trait acquisition from Hugh Hefner, objectification of others, such as when he talks about having his pick of the litter or his superficiality, or in not thinking Diamond should be able to make up her own mind whether she should marry him. Carlton smears others, such as implying the girl he walked out on mid-date is boring, or calling Diamond ignorant. He asserts control through withdrawal. He's self-absorbed, for example, asking, what are some things that stand out about me? He's sexually fluid. Again, just to clarify, as with all other things, this is only a single indicator which must be taken into account in the context of all other information, because the vast majority of bisexual people will not be narcissists. He shows contradictory behavior. His biggest worry is that his partner won't accept his sexuality, but then he hides his sexuality. He says he loves people for who they are at the core, yet earlier proclaimed himself to be superficial and clamoring to date supermodels. He says he was rejected because of his sexuality, then later says that no woman has ever had a problem with it. He says he can't see his life without Diamond, then, in the first argument, says he's fine with or without her. He says he's an honest man, whilst withholding the truth from Diamond. Carlton shows delusion. He thinks he's going to make an amazing husband and a great father. He thinks he loves people for who they are at the core. He thinks that by telling Diamond about his sexuality, he's done one of the hardest things that was ever done. He thinks he's honest. Carlton shows black and white thinking. He treats Diamond well one day, then badly the next, then treats her well again, then badly again. He shows drama creation in trying to start a fight with Diamond. He shows jealousy. He wants to assert control through choosing his partner's clothing. He has a victim mentality. He shows a flat effect. He shows magical thinking. He's a hypocrite, accusing Diamond of judging him while he's judging how she would have reacted to a situation that didn't even happen. He calls Diamond ignorant, then calls her stereotypical, an ignorant statement. Carlton's blinded to reality due to his narcissistic perspective. He can't see that hiding his sexuality was the wrong thing to do. He can't see that Diamond is annoyed at him for hiding his sexuality rather than being annoyed at him for being bisexual. Lastly, he demonstrates the collateral consequence of being an unaware narcissist. By asserting control in the moment, as he must, he creates bigger problems for himself in the long run. By not telling Diamond about his sexuality because he didn't want to ruin the relationship, he ended up ruining the relationship. It's like a Shakespearean tragedy, really, and yet he'll never have the self-awareness to see that. Carlton is grandiose. He thinks he's fly and handsome. His language is peppered with pretentiousness, like, if your heart is beautiful, if your soul speaks to my soul, or, I love people for who they are at the core, or, I may leave this earth alone, but I will leave this earth saying I was effing honest. He's haughty, telling Diamond to hop out of her feelings and dismissing her by saying, whatever, or, this is why I don't deal with bitches like you. He has no sense of accountability. He doesn't tell Diamond everything important about him before proposing, and then blames this on experiencing rejection in the past. Then blames Diamond because she would have prejudged him if he told her. He's very manipulative, showing a wide range of both blunt and mid-range manipulations. These include love bombing, flattery, future faking, triangulation with person, both benign and malign, triangulation with object, destruction of property, pity play, guilting, blame shifting, insult, provocation, double-edged compliment, threatened loss, dismissiveness, ordering people round, interrogation, invalidation, lie, exaggeration, revision of history, melodrama, false martyrdom, false empathy, interruption, denial, word salad, accusation, holier than thou, projection, dismissiveness, deflection, threat, provocation, insult, taunt, belittlement, use of absolutes, and dropping the narc bomb. Lastly, Carlton shows no real emotional empathy. For example, walking out while his date is opening up to him and then implying she's boring to all the other men, or not being truthful with Diamond, or trying to start a fight with Diamond, trying to pressure Diamond into getting married, manipulating Diamond, and casting aspersions on her being biphobic. This concludes the analysis. Thank you for listening, and I hope you'll subscribe for more analysis on narcissists.